Hello and welcome back to the Tactile tutorial series. This is Dancer A, and we're going to be jumping into events today with an addition of, I guess, roster updating if you so choose to do it. So this is where we were last time. I added a couple people just for kicks, and we're going to add a couple more actually. You can see the list here, what I'm going to add. So if you wanted to add extra people, let's say, and you want to just change where they're located, it doesn't actually matter what these IDs are. You can make them essentially whatever and just change it accordingly, and it will just auto allocate them. The only thing that you have to note is that the support number will get messed up, but outside of that, nothing really changes with this. So let's just hurry quick through this. I'm not going to do all of them right now. There's a couple. There's a fair amount, but for our chapter, I want a good amount of units to work with here. So let's just do you know what? Yep. Actually, let's just be smart about this because so that's gonna be 10. This will be 15. This will be what's that? 22. Yes, that's another thing you can note. You don't need to keep the numbers specifically in order. You can kind of jump around if you so choose. So, yep. All right, cool. We have all that stuff. Just switch these. So it still applies to the right person, and auto add that support block. It'll tell you right there the wrong actor ID. So if you hit auto add, it'll actually just delete it entirely. There's no like batch auto add yet. Eventually that will be added, but for now this is all I want. Save that and let's jump into events. So, oh yeah, I updated the map because I hated it, so I just made a new map. Alright, so here's our base here, but I actually don't want any of this. So I'm actually going to remove all of it. Oh, let's get rid of that one. Usually you want to keep that warn remove active just in case you delete something by accident. Alright, so now this chapter we're going to be building around. It's going to be, yes, there's a details tab. We'll get into that in a second. Let's make it a C's chapter, sure. So again, we're gonna name it chapter 1. But now this time we're actually going to go into details. We actually don't care about the normal hard difficulty variants at the moment, but you can keep that in just in the future in case you want to add difficulty variants. We don't want a prep screen, or we do. Sure, let's have a prep screen. Actually, I can show you what that does yet. Home base. I can have that too, honestly. I can show both. It doesn't make much of a difference. The home base is not going to do much right now, though. We're going to have C's, and this number is actually not going to be utilized at all because we're using C's. If you picked survive or defend, then this number will be utilized. So here we are. It looks the same as we did before, but this time I'm actually going to go into that debug playtest. So you want to make a little event called debug playtest and have it so it's called, and at the moment it's not going to be doing anything, but now next time we load up the chapter itself, it will automatically just kick it out, and you won't have to what's it called, you won't see that pop up again. So let's hop into the unit editor real quick because you're gonna do your units and your events pretty much simultaneously. Why do you keep popping up? So we're gonna want to basically new unit data entirely, but so let's get rid of everything. Alright, so let's put Brock over here. Let's put Jerry here, Liam here, and Edwin there. And we'll put old Misty right here. She's still red. This is our starting crew. It's just a bunch of armor knights, I guess. I'll change that later. Let's make her AI still this time so she can properly defend the castle. Now I know you're noticing that you can't seem to attack from these angles. That's because when we showed before, if you go into the terrain for that tile, you can go hop in there and you can right click. It'll show you what's 44, and 44 in the terrain does not have a fire through. If I change it to fire through, which I'll just do because why not? Let's add the identifiers. You don't need to add identifiers, but it makes things a lot easier when we start actually eventing things. Okay. So now, stop loading things that aren't even active. We reload it after we made that change. Now you can see she can fire through these tiles because they are now listed as fire through. I'll leave it like that for now, just why not? Let's get some enemies on the map. Just like last time, we're gonna add, oh look, spoiler alert, for what I'm doing. Okay, we got a Cerulean Myrmidon again. Let's stick with the weak. Now last video I said I was going to talk about the stat variance, but I never actually mentioned it because I'm stupid and I forgot. So let's just go over that real fast. So hit up the classes and you can look at the Myrmidon's base stats. And you'll notice that these do not match what it says they should be for weak, which is this. Come on. Oh man, I really need to get my other monitor on. No? But yeah, those stats are nowhere near close. So that's what I meant before when it's the auto leveling. You see that pre-levels? If I change the pre-levels, which I cannot do by default, but if I change to a T0 and then back to a T1, sometimes I can. I forget how to do it, because but you shouldn't actually be able to ever affect this. It's only really relevant for promoted units. Let's say a Swordmaster if you want a pre-level to be lower. The lowest language is 20 because you have to be at least level 10 to promote. This will change if you change your promotion level. So this is a really weak Swordmaster because he basically, like, he promoted at level 10. Anyway, let's go back to what we were doing. We got our little Myrmidon with his iron sword. I'm going to change their AI, so we'll give my identifier Myrm1, and you will have a Vulnerary. Myrm2, you're not going to move at all. You're going to be moving in range, and Myrm3, you're going to be attacking anybody who shows up. Okay. Cool. Alright. So now, let's click it again and we get an updated version of what the chapter is going to be looking like. So let's start with visit events. So for visit events, you're going to add in a visit location. Now we have a village here, we have a house here, and we have an armory here. So let's start up with the village. So we're just going to put in the coordinates. It's a visit event. The visit event will be called... The visit event called will be whatever you name it. So let's call it village visit. Can pillage. Yes, we can pillage this village if we so choose. This is for, like, if you have, like, a bandit, or actually it doesn't really matter what pillages. It's a common misconception that only brigands could pillage in GBA, but it was just an AI thing. Any unit can pillage. Same applies here. And the pillage event will be village destroy. Simple enough. So for a house, we don't have a pillage event typically. I mean, you could have them be destroyed, doesn't make a difference, but 16.5, and this is our house visit. And also, these, you do not need things in these specific orders. In these, it's just Like, you don't need to make, if you have something called add visit events, it's not actually the thing necessary. You could literally name this whatever you want. It's being run immediately. That's what run once means. It means it just runs as soon as the chapter starts. This event will run, and it runs in order from top to bottom. So it's going to go this event, followed by this one, then this one, then this one. Well, this is actually called first before anything else because it's the debug playtest. But it calls them in order from top down. All these are blank. They don't actually do anything. They're just used for separation purposes. They don't, again, you don't need to keep them. If you don't want them, you can remove them. I keep them just because I think it makes things a little easier to organize. So next thing we're going to add is our armory. Now, armories are a little bit different. So our location is 14.7. Alright, now these are a little different because they have different parameters, and they're not, I guess, preloaded yet. So you'd have to essentially know what all these parameters are. Luckily, we actually have a bunch of things we can reference. The trial maps. Do not delete these until you're actually sure of what you're doing. But the face is going to be the armory. The music is going to be the armory. You can honestly make whatever you want. If you wanted, you could make the music. What music did I add again? Let's see. Let's make it, I don't know, Safeguard. Doesn't matter. And let's actually make it the arena guy, because again, you can do this. It doesn't matter what you put in these parameters. You could have it be a regular face sprite. It's just going to look a little weird because the regular face sprites aren't set up the same way as the shop people. And the choice offsets, now that's going to make no sense to you from the base, and that's fine. It has to do with a bunch of different parameters that I don't honestly remember anymore because I don't look at them. I straight up go right here and grab them. That's what we're going to want here. I'm going to grab these choice offsets right here and throw them in. And secret shop or not, if you want it to be secret shop, you'd put true. That would mean that only something, a unit with the specific member skill, which is attached to the member card by default, will be able to even access the shop. But I don't want that. I just want it to be a regular arena. I mean a regular armory. I'm getting confused because it says arena, but it's an armor. Alright, now the next thing we're going to be grabbing is our shop text. Because shop text is not intuitive yet. You kind of have to put the entire text in. You could type it all out. I do not bother with it. It's just kind of annoying. So, but this is what it looks like. You can see every single menu would pop up. Cost would be whatever the value of the item is. And there's a second one that's merchant, which will name whoever your merchant is. You can change on these texts if you want. Send it to the dogs. Oh, the gods, sure. And then Biggie is full. It doesn't matter. None of these things matter. And for shop inventory, well, I mean they matter in the sense that you need all these lines, and you need the shop text in this order. So it goes in this order: intro, question. This is the introduction. Here's the question. Here's the buy, and the buy confirmation. Anything else? You don't have enough money. That's the first row. Second top text covers the second ones. You're buying nothing. Yeah, because you can't buy it. Because it's out of stock. You're full. You don't have a merchant. You want to sell. Confirm the sell. Sell something else. Then we have you can't sell. You're selling nothing. You want something else. You leave. And if you say, you just cancel. The last one isn't shown here. It has to do with the merchant. But that's all it is. It's just merchant text. The shop inventory. This is set up in the same way as the weapons are. So all weapons are under the ID of 0. While items are under the ID of 1. By default, you can probably change that. I don't know why you would ever change it. And let's say we want to have, since he's got a bunch of lance people, let's throw in a bronze lance and -1, meaning that it will have infinite amount in the shop. And we're gonna throw in a javelin. Let's throw in 3 of those, and let's throw in 1 steel lance. And that's it. That's our shop. I'll just make it this because it's less confusing. So we don't have any chests, we don't have any doors. Again, you don't need to follow these comments. You can do it if it helps you. I tend to do it, and then, but yeah, these tile outlines have to do with, let's say I want to change the border. So, what's it called again? The offset? Yeah, there we go. Set edge offset. So let's say we want to have 1 on every end instead of 2. We're going to set everything to 1. And tile outlines, we don't need that right now. We'll cover that in a later date because it's not relevant. The clearing switches, let's just clear a switch 1 just for now. So we're going to go to set switch. This switch ID we're going to go with is 1 using set, and we're going to go set it to false. All these red lines are depreciated. They're not actually red. They're essentially the same as comments. Our victory condition is seize the gate. Loss is if Brock dies. And seize gate. Enemy ID is still Misty. And our seize point is going to be set here to 5-7. You can see the location right here. The boss is still Misty. The drops. Now let's see, we want to have Merm 2 drop an item. I believe Merm 2 was given the vulnerary, so let's have a drop. And let's make him drop. Now, this has to do with if you want it to turn on or turn off. If you want it to turn off, you don't need it on. By default, it's always on. If you set it to false, it would set the item drop to false. Meaning they wouldn't drop an item. So our groups, we have the pewter, city, pewter gym, and the enemy ID will be the cerulean. I still can't spell cerulean. Alright, we don't have any destroyable objects, no siege engines. We can throw in a talk though. Let's throw in a talk. So for talk conversations, you'd have actually let's do it here because this is actually more intuitive. We'll I just stuck my finger on the screen like in front of me, but you can't see that. So we're gonna go to add, and if you go to page 2, you see talk actually has a pre-built in. So let's have talking Brock and Liam. So this is what a talk event looks like. We're gonna throw in the actor ID. Brock is 1. I believe Liam is 3. Yes, he is. Okay. So we have that, and we're actually not going to keep it in here. This is just, it builds it really quickly for you. It's telling you right here, you actually don't want it to put it in here, because if you have it in here, you'll never be able to call this talk event. And if you have it staying in here, even if you call it somewhere else, it's just going to constantly reload this talk conversation, which is not what you want, because what is the point of that? Okay. This was a, oh yeah, this is not relevant. The home base isn't going to be relevant. Okay. But let's do a deployment point. We don't have any deployment points, but nah, we're not going to have any deployment points. Everybody here is forced. And we're going to add people to the battalion. Now this has to do with if someone shows up in the prep screen at all, and you're able to, this is basically like they're in your army. Like if you're recruiting someone, you want to add them to the battalion. You don't just want to make them blue, because that doesn't automatically mean they're in your army now. It just means you're now able to move them around. So let's go and add Brock to the battalion. Let's add, I don't remember the order. I think it's Edwin. Maybe Jerry's next? I don't know. We're going to add the 4 of them to the battalion. Okay. We have our battle quotes. Now for battle quotes, you're going to go and add battle convo. Unit ID, Misty, -1, right here, means it's going to trigger for anyone. and then we're going to just call it boss. Doesn't, again, the name doesn't necessarily matter. It's just for ease of access. I mean, ease of remembrance. Misty, any, and let's have a special one for her versus Brock. So again, this is what your identifiers are for. So you can do things like this. Okay, death quote. I don't really want any specific death quotes at the moment. Okay, let's see. Anything else? The cover. No. Okay, so let's add our next thing, which is going to be... Actually, I guess we need to do the village. So let's add in the village. Village visit. So, this is going to be a called event. So make sure you switch that. So, for our village event, we're going to have a little prep message. Let's say it's, I don't know. Oh yeah, message source is always going to be chapter or global. For this instance, we're going to be using chapter because, for chapter, it's going to be calling the text key, which would be this key over here. So let's make a chapter 1 text key. Village visit. Oh yeah, I gotta turn this off. We're gonna go over text at a later date. These are gonna be just quick stuff. G stands for the background. To villager. Okay. F is for face. I don't know the name of that. Oh, let's go with so I can show you the recoloring stuff too, all at the same time. Let's go with a soldier M1. So in the preview, we have our soldier right here. Let's change the coloration. Let's have him be alien. So now he's a blue palette. Although that's not really that noticeable. So let's go with Ostia. That's blue. Yeah, there we go. And let's rename him. So name, and then let's call him Soldier Boy. Tell him. And for loading whoever is visiting, it's using the visitor tag. And text just be, here's a Geodude. Good luck. And let's actually have an exclusive one, so let's say if Brock visits specifically. And it'll say, hey Brock, I brought your trusty Geodude. Good luck with Misty. Sure. We're going to auto format, this is a text stuff, so there's a little bit of waiting between different text commands. Not necessary, but oh gosh, do I hate it when it's not there. But yeah, so, but in order for it to actually check that, we have to make an if command. So we're going to go to the if statement. If equals visitor unit, and visitor unit will be Brock. We're going to prep the village visit Brock text, and we're going to an else command, and then otherwise it's just going to be a regular village visit. And end that. Run it. So this is just choosing the text, and this actually runs the text. Let's have a weight of 5. Try to always have a weight of 5 at the start of every event. Sometimes if you don't have that, the game might crash into itself and then crash. And faster actually just to grab a simple one that was already built. Oh yeah, the ducking. You don't necessarily need ducking, but it's nice to have it. I don't want gold gains, but we'll use it for now. So let's go in here. Let's add the duck just so it matches. Ducking is it's a musical term. It just lowers the volume. So if you want to turn it on, just put it on right there, and then we want to turn it off. Hit true, and then we want to. Oh wait. So item gain. Actually, we want to show the pop-up first. So show pop-up. The type is a weapon. The text will be. Gosh, I don't remember what the text actually is supposed to represent. 1 second. Oh, I gotta look at TR2. TR2 has some items, I think, in this one. Yeah. Oh, okay. 95. Okay, so the text is referring to the item number itself. So, like 95 in that instance is the ID of the feedback bow right here. So it'll tell, so that it knows what to show when the pop up. We're given the Geodude, which I still have to import that icon. Let me do that in a second. So we go to village visit, showing the pop-up. It's 25 and the time 16. Sure, it doesn't matter. And we're going to give an item gain. It's true. We're actually giving it to a unit, not the actor. The idea is visitor unit. The item type is a weapon. No. Yes, it's a weapon. So we're going to use 0. The ID is 25, and the usage is going to be 0 because it went to default. Just double check, make sure I did that right. If it's, because I don't remember if it's visitor unit or if it's, yeah, okay. All right, I'm not losing my mind yet. And we're going to give a little weight. We need the SFX. That's what I was going to copy because I don't remember what the SFX is ever. It is, ba-boom. Okay, cool. And then we're going to close that village. Close the visit location so you cannot visit it again. And then we're going to change the tile. So you actually like closing it. So tile still the same. And our tile change ID, sorry, I'm got to take the sweater off. I'm getting warm. Is going to be, if you don't know them by heart, like some people do, like me, because I'm weird. It's actually right here. See this number? This correlates to your tile ID. So let's say I wanted to change it to like a forest. It would be this tile right here. We want this tile right here. So 0, 1 is our tile ID. And we're going to then delete the event because it's over. Boom, a village visit. Let's copy that and use that for a basis for our house event. I believe it's called house village, right? House visit? Yes, okay. So our house visit, we can still have it special. Let's have it special for Edwin. Why not? So house visit, Edwin versus a regular house visit. Okay, all this stays essentially the same, but we don't really want to give any items for this house. And we also don't want to end the event. We want to have it repeating, so we don't actually want to close the village event or delete that event. So we can actually just end it right there. That's a simple house event. The same as a village, except you don't really close anything, unless you want to, obviously. You could do the same thing with the village. You could have this be an infinitely visitable village if you wanted. Then revisit events we have, no, because the armory is set up right here. Right. Now let's add a recruitment. So there is a recruitment option pre-built in, but that's typically with talk conversations. But we just want to spawn someone. So I'm going to spawn a new guy. We'll call it, let's say, turn 7. No, that's too long. Turn 3. And we're going to be, this one's going to be triggered on the end of turn 2. So the start of turn 3. You can make it at the start of turn 3 if you want. I just typically do it at the end of the previous turn. So it's going to be checking this turn. Every single turn it will check. That's what this 1 stands for. If you set it for like 3, it would check every 3 turns. Is it turn 2? And then -1 meaning it's going to check this infinitely until it triggers it. So we're going to do a little wait. So you always want to wait beforehand. And let's warp the cursor over to here. 7-1. You want the center of the screen or not? I do. And I want to center it immediately. I do not. You don't need to move the camera if you don't want to. I don't bother usually. Give it another wait so we can get time to get there. And let's add a unit. Let's add an actor. He's on the green team, so that's 3, or it's citizen ID. I usually just go with the numbers. It's easier for me to remember them. And let's have him load up 8, -1. Now -1 means it's off the map, so it's somewhere over here. Don't worry about any tile crossing, because whenever it's outside of the border, you're allowed, any unit can cross by default. And we're going to add surge to our group. So surge is 10. So that's going to be the actor ID. We're going to give an identifier of surge, and we're going to move surge. -1 refers to the last unit that was loaded, and we're going to move him right here. That's to 7-2. Wait for him to move, and we're going to add in. That's when now we can add a recruitment because I have everything else set up, and we're going to recruit surge. So the person who's going to recruit surge will be Brock. That's his ID is 1. Surge ID is 10. Recruit surge. So you can just grab that and put it right here. Surge will probably say so when he shows up, I guess. Chapter Surge arrives. And let's run that. And then wait. And then delete. And then we're adding our end if. So now it's actually going to check it. It's going to kick us out of this loop if it's not turn 2. And if it is turn 2, it's going to go into this and then delete the event, meaning it will not happen again. So recruiting surge, delete that. We're going to play the Vermilion City. Gosh, I can't spell any of these words. You know what? It's just going to call Viridian City. Sure. I don't remember any. You know what? Let's just go with like companions or something. Something I know is in here that I don't have to remember. And let's get recruit surge. And let's say, again, these are comments. You don't have to change this part because it's not read by anything. It's just for your own use. Let's change the team of surge. His ID. But for adding to the battalion, we're using his actor ID, which is 10. His unit ID is surge. That's the thing you named him. It's not his name. You could make it like when I loaded him right here, I gave him the idea of surge. Like I could make it LT surge, and now that's his ID. So when I recruit him, I need to change team of LT surge. If I tried to change team of surge, the game won't know who that is because it doesn't have anyone ID'd by that. Add him to the battalion, and we're going to return to the turn theme. Completion points don't do anything necessarily at this point. You can kind of take it or leave them if you want. And let's see, anything else for here? We don't have destructibles, chests, doors. Yeah, okay, I think that's. Oh, right. So I wanted to mess around with these guys. Now Merm 2 at the moment doesn't do. He never moves. Let's save that. Let's go open up the unit editor. It did not compile, by the way. I'm not sure. I don't know if you noticed that. That's because it was open the whole time. So, yeah, Merm 2 is actually not the one I want dropping. I want Merm 1 dropping. Okay. So, back in info, change that to 1. So let's say, because now, as you know, Merm 2 is never going to move. and MERM1's only going to move when someone's in range, while MERM3 is running around willy-nilly. So let's change it up. Let's have MERM2 move after MERM1 goes down. So in order to do that, we make another AI change. So let's call it MERM2 moves. Again, another triggered, and let's have it check at the end of a turn, so he doesn't just move immediately. And yep, so if dead, so this means is this unit dead? True, meaning we're checking the unit ID, not like an actor. And then MERM3, wait, and then we're going to change the mission of MERM2. We're going to change his mission to 3. 3, if you're curious, is seek and attack the weakest enemy. This will ignore units with too high defense, while any will just attack whoever's in range. Or literally anyone in range. Or they can just choose to not attack. It's kind of a wild card AI by default. And then that's that. That's our event for that. Okay, 5 ticks. And let's see, anything else I want to mess around with these guys? I don't think so. So that's good to go. Save that, close it out. So now it'll actually compile the whole thing. So let us give it a go. Let's start it up. Let's play test it. Oh wait, hold on. Never saved the text, and I also didn't make a second house thing, so let's do that real quick. House visit. Let's go with the house background, and let's say remember the, I don't remember what that quote is, so I'm not gonna go with it. Juju on that beat, sure. And we're gonna name this person Fanboy, and we're gonna change the color. Let's have this one be a sake, sure. And then for a house visit for, I believe, was it Edwin that we set it up for? The special, yeah, Edwin. Okay. So for Edwin's, same exact thing, but instead Edwin will also respond. Why not? And we want to save this. Text is not saved by default, so you have to actually click that save button. And we don't need this open. We need to have it compile. Whenever you run the unit editor, by default it will compile. And let's give it a run. Let's see. Boom. Now we're in the, that's loud. At least for me it is. So now see we have a prep screen. I don't think I went over this where that came up, but it's right here in info. Preparations. Wait for preparations waits until you actually hit that start button. So take our units. Here are 4 units. So we have Brock, Jerry, Edwin, and Lame. We got the Cerulean guy. You got Misty over here. Can't move any of them around because, I mean, we set them all. When you set someone on the map, that means that they are now forced. They are a forced unit. If you were to leave it blank and have a deployment slot, they're now a mutant you can move around. So we can do that too. Let's do that. Let's add some deployment points. So 18.9. This is useful because we need to be able to check things that are not unit identifiers. I can show you how to do that. 29 and 1910. And now, oh, okay, not important. So we want to that's from the boss theme. Misty, I believe it was Gym Battle. What was the name of that we imported? So hop back into the unit editor and let's remove these three and just have Brock on the map. So now we can actually use our deployment points. So now it's just Brock. Alright. Now, that visit event, that house event. Now, Edwin does not exist currently. He won't exist. So we actually need to get the unit of actor, which calls the unit of the actor, meaning it's not converting, but it's checking. It's the way you check an actor without them having a unit identifier. This is why you want to give identifiers if you can. And Edwin is 4. So when Edwin checks, it should say, ah, this is the unit of actor 4, so we'll run this as opposed. And debug print is a good way to error check. So let's say if it's true, it'll say Edwin visited. Otherwise, someone else visited. Again, you don't need this, but this does help so you know exactly where your events are going wrong. So we have that. Let's compile that. Hop back into chapter 1. Also, you noticed, hopefully, that I didn't show that little debug print about debug playtest not found because we added it. So boom, we can pick our units, and now they're all optional, and we can move them around because we changed that up. I should change their class just because it's a little confusing because they're all the exact same class. To soldier. A Vanguard. And a Pegasus Knight. Wow, interesting how they all ended up they all ended up as lance users, but not on purpose. Sure, it doesn't really matter. This is just so you can clearly tell who is who. So let us go. Boom. Now we can clearly see Liam, Jerry, and Edwin. They're all different classes. Wait, didn't I make someone a Pegasus Knight? Oh, that's Amara, who's not even here. What am I doing? Okay, whatever. We know that they're all different now, though, at least. Okay. So let's give it a try. Plays just like it did before. That music is very loud. We should address how to fix that soon enough, but so let's move around. Let's have that talk conversation. It's gonna say that there is no talk events because I didn't write one. So that's what happens if there isn't one. It's not gonna crash. It's gonna say not found, but run the event anyway. So here comes that Myrmidon. The only one is moving. His mission right there. So he can attack anybody. Let's visit this old armory. See what we have in here. Fortunately, we have no money, so we can't actually buy anything, but armory's working fine. Oh, right. No. Can't do that one. Okay. So let's take out... Let's use Jerry. Good job, Jerry. Okay. Oh yeah, and see, Saroon's dropping that vulnerary. We'll send Edwin up to the visit. And see, the little debug text, Edwin visited. And now we have the special text, Juju on that beat, Juju on that beat. Boom. But let's send someone else. Someone else visited. Juju on that beat, but no response. different text. Now, since that Myrmidon is dead, Surge arrived, so it's the end of turn 2. So Surge just showed up. Surge by default has 2 AI. He can't actually use his weapon because because Killing Edge is a B. Well, remember that thing you could do with the editing stats? Yeah, we can do it here too. So now he can actually wield it. So, boom! So now Surge is wielding his weapon. So let's send Brock over here to talk to Surge. Let's send Jerry, Lame, and Edwin. So he's going after Surge. And Surge just deletes him off the face of the earth. Okay. Not bad. And Surge got the vulnerary. Wait, why did Misty move? Wait, her AI changed. Did I set the wrong identifier? Wait, why did she move? Wait, I don't actually know why she just moved. Oh, because I changed the mission. Okay. So, I actually changed the mission of unit ID 2, which is actually Misty right here, the ID, as opposed to changing the ID of Myrm 2. So now Misty decided to move around, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's not a big deal. So let's try to catch up with Surge before he goes and runs amok. In fact, let's just cheat our way there. Just testing purposes, so let's recruit Surge. So now Surge is blue. We have no text event, but we can have him fight this her Myrmidon and delete him off the face of the earth. My goodness. Alright. Now, let's visit that village with Brock. See? Special text for Brock. Now, it's going to crash. And that's because there's no icon. So, when you crash in the unit editor, you're not going to see anything about it. It's not going to tell you why it crashed. It's going to crash. However, let's open up Visual Studio, not that folder. And let's open up the project in Visual Studio. Oh gosh. Just open it, please. Okay. And let's just hit x86, I can't read, and we'll run it right here. We're just running the game itself, so you're gonna see a bunch of yeah, silly stuff. And let's oh wait, we have no save file. Duh. Okay, so we actually want to run the unit editor itself. So we're gonna go to Properties, and we're going to go to Debug, and we're actually going to put in Unit Editor, Chapter 1, run it, and this is in the project file, and boom, we've loaded up the Unit Editor of Chapter 1. Bada bing, bada boom, and now let's trigger that event again. So let's have Brock go in here and visit the village. Yep, and when it tries to show the item, it throws a little problem because it can't find this icon. So it's a little error checking for you. So let's go and in the items, and let's give it a let's just give it an A icon. Lances. Sure. Good enough. And now if we were to test it out, it should not throw that error because it knows where that icon is. Okay. Let's infinite move. Let's get over there. Let's grab our Geodude. Oh, right. I forgot to point this out. So you notice how the borders have now shifted to 1 everywhere. That was from right here in the area backgrounds. I set the map offsets to 1. So now Brock has his Geodude. Boom. And only he's able to use it. We already set that preferred. And he can go after Misty now with his Geodude, which is now effective against her, except he'll never hit her because hit rates. No, we didn't write the boss quote. But it is calling it. And Brock is burned again. Let's say this is taking too long. Brock started juicing. I mean, just juicing. He actually still really can't beat her. Well, he got her. He's been juicing. Boom. And now we can seize. And nothing happens. And you're probably wondering, well, why did nothing happen? We set the victory condition to seize. Why did it not work? This is why. Right here in your chapter end, it's actually still checking here. If this was seized, if 1616 was seized, it's calling the end event. But this is 5-7. We just seized 5-7, so it didn't call anything. So let's change that. Now keep in mind, you couldn't actually seize 1616 because it didn't even have an option to do that. There was no seize point for it. So yes, I'm doing these things on purpose also. They're like small errors that you're going to probably do by accident without realizing it. So let's give it another go. Boom. Let's just up. Misty came down with food sickness. And let's have Brock run up on this. Boom. Boom. We've ended the chapter. A fully working chapter. We have a little AI manipulation. We have a visit event. We have a recruitment event. Special visit events. This is just the bare basics of what you can do when making events. I think we're going to do another basic event in the next video, covering more tile change things like snags and making the actually attack snags, for instance. And because by default they will not go after a snag. And yeah, when I think of something else, I'll throw it into that next one. But that's going to be more of the advanced stuff. I mean, the ceiling is almost infinite when it comes to what you can do with events. Alright, I was looking for that debug playtest. The debug playtest is looking for is actually going to be in the outro, but I don't really need it, so I'm not going to bother with it. And then ta-da, we're back at the unit editor. So that's going to fill it for this video. I will, well, I'm not doing anything. Leave a comment if you have any questions or concerns. And yeah, hope this was helpful. Goodbye.